Hey, how y'all doing? Y'all right? Well, good. If you're not, this too shall pass. I am Dr. Ken K. Lucas, and welcome, welcome, welcome. Everything is on time, all the time. So, what we here today? Well, today is storytelling time because I got some reflections, some uh, uh, po poetic thoughts, all the things. Little ghetto-ness, all the things. So come on into this room. Come on and stay a spell and listen to what I have to say. I promise you won't get something out of it. It's going to be for your heart and your spirit. So come on in here. Come on in here while we do this thing. All right. So what we're going to be talking about today. So here's my story. My story is about dream weaving. I said it. Dream weaving is a concept and a method that you use to help you travel the realms, the galaxy, the whole nine yards, to communicate and to talk with your ancestors, your guides, all the things. Um, it's called dream weaving because it's like you go into the dream world, right? But you can get there through trance, through hypnosis, through journeying, like going on a journey. Um, you do not have to be like, I'm going to bed, I'm about to go sleep or take a nap, right? It's like daydreaming, but on purpose and with intentions, right? And with guidance to go gather information and come back, right? So I say dream weaving because you're weaving through the realms in a state of consciousness and unconsciousness to gather information for what you need. That's the purpose of the storytelling. Now, buckle up, stay a spell. In December, I had a dream. I had a dream that I was escorting thousands of people, all in white, to a destination. Some of you may know what that means. We're not here to get deep into that. If you want more about what that means, just let me know. Put it in the chat, and we go from there. So I was escorting thousands of people in white. An associate of mine was in the dream, and she said to me, she said, "How do you do it?" And I was like, "How do I do what?" She's like, "How do you handle so much grief, pain, emotions, trauma, whatever, with me gathering or being around all these spirits that are moving through, and I am helping them get to their destination, to the other side." Now, in the dream, I don't know what I said. I can't recall exactly what I said. I said something, but I can't recall what it was. That was in December of 2023. In 2024 of January, my mother transitioned. I was in the midst of just transitioning locations when she decided that enough was enough. I was in Ghana when I got the call, just literally a month after I had that dream. I was on my way to Kenya. Of course, I was ready to change my flights, hop on a new flight, no matter how much it costs to get me to the States to, do all the things I needed to do because my mother transitioned. But they called me and said, "There's no rush. We have to wait for her body to be released." And they said it's going to take a couple of weeks. I said, "Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and hop on this flight to Kenya because I already got the tickets." I went to Kenya and I found the most profound peace I ever experienced in my life. I went on a safari. The safari was like for 4 to 5 hours. I think it was on either 500 or over 100. I want to say 500 acres of land. And it felt like it was just me and my daughter in this safari. I cried happiness, joy, and sadness. It was wonderful. The lions was near us. We got off the van at one time. We was the only one on this van. It was just us. We got off to go to the bathroom, and my daughter, being as wise as she is, sometimes what's that prophetic, goes, "What if there's a lion right around the corner? We just can't see it." And I go, "Girl, there ain't no lion around the corner." She's like, "It could be a lion around the corner. You need to hurry up." Because we was out in the middle of the safari and all the animals just out roaming, doing what animals do. We in their territory. Well, she was right, because as soon as we got back into the truck, literally 1 second, we start the gas and drove 1 second and turned the bend, and it was a mama lion and her cubs walking. And they was walking right beside our truck. And it was literally right there where the bathroom was at, just on the other side of the bush. Lord Jesus. A mama lion, her cubs. I think there was 2 cubs. And we was like, oh my God, we was this close to the lion. Ah! Anywho, I come back to the States, and during the time of bereavements, which is gathering, doing all the things we need to do to get prepared for her funeral and things like that, I had a dream of my mother 3 times. And each one, she was happy. She reunited with her friends. She recognized me. Then another one, she was confused after she recognized. She called my name and was like, "Come here, do me this favor." And then she looked at me like, "Hold up, who are you? Where do I know you from?" Even though she just called my name. Then another one, she gave me information. She let me know she was good, and she made it to wherever she was trying to make it to. She got to the gates, to whatever gate she was going to, and she was happy about where she had arrived to and the people that she saw. I still was carrying that peace because of those dreams. Now, my family was chaotic. They was chaotic. They was going through, oh my God, it was going through it. And in that moment, I was not only at peace, but I was at calmness. Like I was okay. Right? Of course, seeing how my sibling responded, had me go, oh my God, it emotionally affected me. But I still was calm and okay and at a good space. And I thank my mother for that, because she came to me to let me know she was fine. And me being the traveler of dreams and realms that I am, the spirit traveler and communicator, I understood what those dreams meant, and I found peace that she was okay and she was ready to go when she left. Now, what I did not realize during that time, so this is in hindsight, was that I went through a portal. Death is a portal. Like birth is a portal, death is a portal. I walked through this portal, and now that ain't the first time I walked through portals. Sometimes I can be like, "Oh, I'm going through a portal." I feel it because of the environment, where I see, how I feel, the ship, all that. This time, because I was grieving, I didn't realize I walked through something, that I entered into something, that I transfer realms and was in between places, and that I was in between that place for a while. I was in between places, and I came back to the stateside. And because I didn't recognize I went through a portal, I didn't close it. I didn't close the door behind me. I didn't close the gate behind me. I didn't do the work that I needed to do to make sure that when I came through it, not only did I close the door, lock it, but I also banished, washed, and cleansed and shield and did all the other things I needed to do. So it wasn't done. So for the next couple of years, a year and a half maybe, I was emotionally taking on energies that was not my own. What do I mean by that? Well, when you go through portals, and every portal is different. So I'm really speaking about this particular portal, right? But just know that every portal is different. But if you're not aware of the portal you went through, you cannot do the work to make sure that nothing comes back with you, right? Or to make sure that you have gathered all yourself. Now, I did that part. I when I travel in general and leave a place, I make sure I take all of me with me and don't leave it where I left. So that's just me traveling, right? Especially since I travel a lot. But I didn't close the portal, which means whatever came through came through and will continue to come through until I shut it down. And so I'm in, I'm living life, just going through the motions of living life. And I'm taking on everybody energy, which means I'm taking on their emotional energy. I'm taking on their physical energy, and I'm taking on their ancestral energy. Let me repeat that. Their emotional energy, their physical energy, and their ancestral energy. And so I'm over here just managing and regulating all this. And so I'm moving. I'm moving. And I'm getting downloads, I'm getting information, I'm getting all this stuff, which is not new, but at the speed of which I was receiving them were. They were just coming so quickly, and I was just moving them so quickly that my body starts to become reactive. And of course, I didn't realize that at the time, but it was becoming reactive. And then emotionally, I became overwhelmed. And the way I process emotion, I started doing the things that I normally would do for a typical, oh, I'm just not feeling it day. It wasn't working. And I was having so much buildup that and things was happening so quickly that me processing wasn't happening. I was just taking it on. I was taking it on, and then therefore everybody can get it. Because when you do that, and you do not function in your own frequency, you will explode. You won't be able to handle all the things that come your way. And it took about a year and a half, and everybody was getting it. I mean, it was building, and people could see it beforehand because I started cussing people out here. I started cussing people out there. I was saying all the things that I wanted to say in a very mean and nasty way because, hey, it is what it is. And I was okay with that. And I'm okay with it now because it taught me a valuable lesson that I have a habit of speaking. I always speak my mind and my thoughts, but I'm also very conscious about what I say. And people go, no, you're not. You be saying something. No, I don't. I've processed it 5,000 times before I decided, let me say something. It went through my mind 5,000 different times, 5,000 different ways over a few weeks and months before I said something. And when I say it, I try to say it in a way where I try not to cause harm. Now, if it caused harm, I can't do anything about that because I am not you and I do not know what will harm you or what your trauma is. What I do think will cause harm, I try to limit that, but I cannot tiptoe around your trauma because I don't know what is your trauma. And even if I have an idea, concept, I didn't live it, so I don't know what will trigger or activate it. And I found myself walking around eggshells so that I would not activate or harm people doing a disservice to me. But I'm taking on all of the energies. And so I was just start cussing people out here, start cussing people out there. And I'm not talking about like straight F you motherfucker. I wasn't doing all that. I was just reactive and like boom, boom, just and I'm hey, it was a thing. And while it probably was needed, it was doing something in my body because I was still trying to restrain myself. And I couldn't understand why all these things was happening. And I'm trying to restrain myself so that I won't cuss people out the way I wanted to cuss people out, that I would not react it the way I want it to react it because I'm hood and ghetto and my mouth is reckless. And so are my hands. But I'm mature. So I'm trying to respond in a fashion where it lands softly, but you feel the impact. It wasn't working. It was not working. It wasn't. Okay. Um, it wasn't working. And so I'm taking all these people energies. Um, and it's destabilizing. And what I realized in this going through this portal is that when I started doing intentional dream weaving, I realized, oh, what was happening. It took a few sessions, took a few sessions of me doing it, but then I started realizing, oh, this is what's going on. This person is draining me, and this person is draining me. This one is feeding off of me, and this person feeding off of me. I have myself spread it thin to support other people energetically that is affecting me. I went through this portal and I'm allowing all their ancestors in and it's affecting me. We need to close this door. And then once we close that door, now I only have to deal with their primary energy, not their ancestors. And I had to shut it down. I had to shut everything down. Shut it down. Because I'm taking on not only your primary energy, but your people's too. That I'm going on, that out here that's living the spiritual world, doing spiritual stuff. I'm taking on their energy too. Why? Why am I doing this? Why? And it's so heavy. It was so heavy that I all of a sudden out the blue got hypertension. I never had hypertension in my day in my life. I never had blood pressure issues. I started to get inflamed. I don't have some injuries. I do got injuries, but I started to get inflamed. I just started getting inflamed. And my doctor was like, I think you have autoimmune disease. I said, autoimmune? And they tested me for everything. And some things came back for positive, but it wasn't a high positive. It was like, oh, yeah, you got some positive here. So, like on a scale of 1 to 10, it was a 2. A 2? Why are we even on the scale, sir, ma'am, sir, ma'am? Why am I on the scale? This is unlike me. And so not only do I have now, I got hypertension, I am diagnosed with autoimmune disease. I said, hold up, we about to fix all this. We about to fix all of this and we're going to shut it down. We're going to shut it down. And anything that tried to get in that will reactivate or their ancestors is keep trying to open the door for whatever the reason is. We're going to shut it down. We're not going to reopen the door. We have to disconnect because sometimes you have to disconnect to reconnect. Every now and then I'll be saying the word. I'm not speaking of isolation. I don't believe in isolation. I do believe you're doing your individual work, but not isolation. Isolation means you're not dealing with nobody. No. You still communicate with people, you still talk to people, you still go out, you still do, but you have to disconnect from certain people to get yourself, not saying that they did anything, they probably just been their own typical selves. They just been their own typical selves, and their ancestors probably been their own typical ancestors. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But when you go through portals and don't close those doors, and even if that portal was wonderful and beautiful like mine was, I still didn't close that door. I was in the jungle of Kenya, sitting at the foot of the divine feminine, going through a transition with my mother. I was going through that with her energetically. It started in December when they told me it was about to happen. And from that time, I was on the clock. And I went through this portal in Kenya, stayed in it for the whole duration of while I was there, to the point that some things are blurry. Some things I don't even know how I got here. I brought a whole African village. Love it. Glad I got it. But do not recall all the ins and outs of how that transpired. I had it shipped in some more. I'm like missing bits and pieces of that. How did I get that? How did I spend that money? What happened? I don't feel bad about it. None of that. I'm happy I was there. Happy that it happened. But there's still a fogginess because I was in a portal. And because I was in that portal, when I came back, I'm getting everybody's stuff. Even people's stuff that I didn't think I would get. Their answers was just knocking at my door, and I could say, "Who are you? Why are you here? Who are you, and why are you here?" And I had to do dream weaving. I had to do dream weaving, or what I call dream weaving. I may come up with a different name, I don't know, but I call it dream weaving. For me to realize what happened, I had to go into deep trance on a regular basis, on a weekly basis, on a weekly basis, to be able to hear, see, and know. I had to work with an elder. I had to do all the things. Now, fast forward. For the past 3, 4 months, 6 months, maybe, I don't know. My blood pressure, I'm not on medication. My blood pressure has been normal. Hey, the hypertension is not there. But I now know that it can get there. I am not on medication. The doctors in the States try to kill me, though. They try to kill me. They try to put me on all this medication, made me think about some stuff like, hold up, maybe I shouldn't have did A, B, and C if you diagnosed me like this, Um, I'm not on medication. I didn't take any medication. I didn't do A, B, and C. At first I started to, but then I said, this is not me. We got to figure it out. So then I stopped. And so for about now I do take herbs. Let's be clear. I'm a plant person, so I do take some plants, right? I got things in place to try to keep myself, emotionally regulated. But my blood pressure's been doing great for 3, 4, 5 months. It's, off and on, it was getting better, but it was still there. But now, every time I go to the doctor, they're like, oh, your blood pressure fine. You 120 and over 80 or 120 over 70, I'm doing great. That's all I need to hear. I'm not as inflamed as I was before. Do I get inflamed? Yeah, because I got injuries. And I'm hard-headed. And I be doing stuff, but not like I was before. I'm not getting inflamed like I was before. And when I was getting inflamed from just being still. Just being still. Am I doing things like acupuncture? Yeah, but I was doing that before. I was doing those things before and still was going through it. So, dream weaving is a way to help you contact the ancestor more directly. It's a way for you to hear them, see them, receive the message more directly, and for you to be able to process that information, right? And I have conversation about that information, with that information, or what it could be, what it could not be, what it is. And you may not get the answer right then and there, but you will get the answer. A lot is going on. We carry generations of trauma in our bodies. We carry generation of trauma in our souls. And we walk through portals, we walk through energy frequency, we are in constant communication and connection with the ancestors and other people, folks. And we have to figure out who's who, what's what. And no matter how good you are in this spiritual game, no matter what initiations you went through, or how many you went through, how many cover your head, who sits on you, no matter any of that, you can still go through different things. And when you do, you may not always realize it. You may not always realize it until later, because you still walk this earth in a physical body. You could be a high priestess, a Babala, you could be all the things, and you still will go through it. That's life, exploration and experience. That's life. So, dream weaving, if you really want to get into dream weaving, not just dream, but dream weaving, reach out to me. Go to my website. It's collective work. It's not individual work. It's individual work once you start doing the collective work. But it's important work. Get in touch with me. On my team. Me on my team, because it may not always be me, y'all. I'm only one person. On my team. Go to my website. There's different things there that can start you off on your journey if you new, or if you need a reset. Go there. But dreamweaving, trance, hypnosis, um, daydreaming is a thing, vision is a thing, all of those, but with intention. Never do work by yourself. Not intense work anyway, not that type of work. So yeah, but that's all I got. I hope you enjoyed the story. Come back for more and toodles.